Imagine sitting in total darkness 40,000 years ago. Outside, the wind is howling across a frozen landscape. Inside the cave, a small group of humans gathers around a dying fire. Nobody is hunting. Nobody is gathering. Instead, one person begins to speak. They aren't sharing facts or directions to the nearest water source. They are telling a story about a giant spirit that lives in the mountains. And every single person in that cave is listening like their lives depend on it. Because in a very real way, it did. Today, we like to think of storytelling as entertainment. We binge television shows, scroll through social media, and read novels to unwind. It feels like a luxury of modern life. A way to pass the time when the real work is done. But science shows that your brain doesn't treat stories like entertainment at all. To your neurological system, a story is a simulation. And your brain is completely obsessed with them for one simple reason. It was the ultimate survival technology. When scientists put people inside MRI scanners and read them lists of facts, only two areas of the brain light up. The parts responsible for processing language and understanding words. To your brain, raw facts are just cold data. But when those same people are told a narrative, something extraordinary happens. The entire brain lights up like a Christmas tree. The sensory cortex fires up if the story describes a rich texture or a deep sound. The motor cortex activates if a character in the story starts running. Your brain doesn't just hear a narrative. It physically simulates the experience. Psychologists call this neural coupling. When you listen to a compelling story, your brain waves actually mirror the speaker's brain waves. You are literally sharing a mental state across space and time. And this brings us to a counterintuitive truth about human evolution. We didn't conquer the planet because we were the strongest or fastest species. We conquered it because we were the only species that could share complex, imaginary realities. Think about a lion. A lion can signal to its pride that a buffalo is near. It can communicate immediate physical threats in real time. But a lion cannot tell another lion a story about what happened at the river 3 years ago. It cannot create a myth about an invisible guardian watching over the pride. Ancient humans could. By inventing stories, our ancestors could pass down critical survival information across generations without everyone having to suffer the danger firsthand. An elder didn't need to take every young hunter to the edge of a cliff to show them a predator's territory. They could paint a vivid picture with words around a campfire. The young hunter's brains would simulate the danger, feel the fear, and encode the lesson. Storytelling allowed us to learn from experiences we never actually had. It was the first form of virtual reality. And it changed the course of human history forever. Research in evolutionary anthropology shows that as human social groups expanded, grooming each other's fur was no longer enough to maintain social bonds. We needed a tool that could hold hundreds of individuals together in a shared belief system. Stories became the social glue of our species. They allowed strangers to cooperate by sharing belief in abstract concepts like codes of honor, nations, and shared ancestry. This is why your brain releases dopamine during a cliffhanger and oxytocin during an emotional character arc. Oxytocin is the exact same hormone released when you hug a loved one or bond with a child. It builds trust and empathy. When a story makes you care about a character, your brain is treating that fictional person like a member of your tribe. This explains why you cried during a movie even though you know the actors are on a soundstage reading a script. Your logical mind knows it's fake. Your evolutionary brain thinks it's real. So what does this mean for you today? It means you are living in an environment that constantly hacks this ancient survival mechanism. Every advertiser, politician, film director, and social media creator is competing for control over your narrative simulator. When an algorithm keeps you scrolling late at night, it isn't exploiting your laziness. It is exploiting your deeply ingrained evolutionary need to see how the story ends. Your brain is hardwired to seek resolution in narrative arcs because unresolved stories once meant unmanaged survival threats. Which leads to a question worth sitting with. If your brain is constantly shaping its world through stories, what is the main story you are telling yourself every day? Is it a narrative of growth and survival, or one of limitation? Because to your brain, that story isn't just background noise. It's the script your reality is actually running on. Comment below, what's a story, book, or movie that fundamentally changed how you view your own life? I genuinely want to know.